Oh man, ratings, we go again. Number 9 of the Godcast. Thanks again for joining me. Thanks again for the continued support. The private messages that I'm getting. And interesting places that people are coming across this information on this, the Godcast. And what it's doing for them, and it's fascinating as always just to see it unfold. And this one, number 9, is going to be an interesting one. I'm having to time this one. It's been a very emotional kind of few days. It's been a time of transition. Anybody that's been following the stuff online, I know I'm there online is really important. Where I am, that's what the posts are about, what's coming through me, the stuff that I'm doing, what I'm working on myself on this journey. And speaking from my experiences, and this one, number 9, is going to be about parenting, being a parent, and what it means to be a parent, and my experience of being a parent, and where I'm just now, me as being a parent, us, me and my girl, being parents in this transition time. Today, at the time of this recording, this is the first time in 22 years that we have been, I wouldn't say empty nest because we've still got the Doug, the weeing, but in terms of the children, no being here. The nest is absolutely empty, they're away for the first time, just as of today. And that's been a really, God, where do you begin? The process for months and months and months now, knowing that this day was going to come, and then watching it come, and then watching myself go through it, and watching everybody going through it, as a family. It's a time of very much pondering and reflection in terms of how's it went, how have you done, are they ready, are they prepared, especially it's different. My boy, he's been away the last few years. Sam, he's in the world, but my girl, the Ian, very different when it's your girl, and she's moving on to the next stage in her life. She's travelling the world. She's spreading her wings. It's a really such a privileged position to watch and see who they're becoming and who they are and the stage that they're at, and what they're doing and their life experiences, and just watching them. Just absolutely blessed, both of us, me and my wife, just surrounded, both of them. They're just goodness. My wings are goodness. And I'm going to talk a bit on this about the way that we were able to parent. It's no easy. I don't think, especially just now. The wee is 20, Sam's 22, 23 this year. So very different. The challenges that the parents and kids are facing just now, especially over the last 4 or 5 years since the madness. And I suppose we're probably, I'm going to say we're completely through the other side of it, but we experienced them at a different stage and a different time, probably less complicated, even though it wasn't that long ago. And watching who they became, and watching how they're navigating their way in this world, and self-reliance. That's what it's all about. I'm thinking a lot about when my journey of becoming a parent even began, and it's a life sentence. It's not the thing that ever finishes. It never stops. So it's just now there's going to be breaks in it where they're not here, because it's a full-time job as well. That's the thing. That's the bit that I absolutely love it. It's different as you get older and working and things like that, but there's still all the daily practices in terms of the work that you do to enable them to be in the house, in terms of looking after them and tidying up and breakfast and fending for them. When they're at home, they're in our house, they're away, and so we look after them. Of course we do. So that's going to be interesting. Them not being here and having all that free time. It's thinking about at times, because I was lucky and blessed where at the very beginning I realised how much it was costing me in terms of chasing money and chasing success in business, and I was very different anyway from probably the guy pre-Ibiza obviously when I had kids it was very different. My priorities had changed. It wasn't about the money and the business and the significance and the ego and the stuff and the becoming the man. That was long gone. You know, I did a wee bit of that at the beginning, probably old programs. You know, just do what my dad did. You know, go and get hundreds of people working for you, make loads of money, and that takes care of everything. I did a wee bit of that, but I realised probably inside 18 months how much it was costing me. I used to leave at 4:30, 5 in the morning, go to the gym in my office, 70 people working for me. Hated it, stress, fighting every day, just horrible. It's amazing how quick, how negatively it impacted me, and then how quick I had to get out of it. And the realisation that I wasn't going to go down that road again, because the old patterns were definitely there. You know, they go again. Once I got my second wind, I definitely went again for a short period of time. And you know, I was blessed, probably into kind of primary school time, when I was able to take the kids to school. I used to take them to school every single day, pick them up, drop them off. Never missed a sports day. Right up to high school, you know, I used to work from home for a period of time, so I was just available for them, which was just an absolute blessing. And you know, just now where I am, and this day today, you know, you're checking in, you know, it's a significant step, you know, as there's a separation taking place, which is great. It's absolutely great for everybody, you know, the expansion, you know, seeing, especially with the wee Inez, you know, the stage that she's coming into, and how she's just, you know, just goodness, you know, just how I believe human beings are supposed to be, and that's just not a recent thing. That's been since the day she was born. I remember as tiny, like primary school, you know, and some of the things you'd be asking her, like wee simple things, like who's your best pal, and she would say that wouldn't be fair, you know, they're all equal. She was always just this genuine force of goodness, which she is to this day. Anybody that knows her and has spent time with her, she's just an absolute, what a being, what a soul to be around about, and you know, when you obviously you're going to miss that, you know, that influence. I'm going to miss her giggles, I'm going to miss her whistles, because she giggles and she whistles all the time. Oh, you can always tell where she is, you know, she's always got a whistle on the go, and just genuinely joyful and happy, you know, just absolutely beautiful. And I think as well, for a reason, our kids were allowed to be at different stages. I think the maturity of children, and you know, how quick they grow up is a huge thing. You know, the stage that they see things, and how they develop, you know, and when's the right time for them to be exposed to certain things. You know, the sexualisation of children is something that's way too commonplace, something that's always been there, you know, in different levels. And I think the damage that can do, you know, it doesn't need to be the direct experience of it, but even just you know, the exposure to it. You know, because that innocence that's in them, you know, the children and the wains, you know, the way that it's meant to be, you know, that divine perfection. There's certain things that, you know, at certain stages you don't really need to know. That's why you know, when you see all this stuff that's going on within the schools, that they're, you know, they're educating and making and bringing it to their awareness, whereas perhaps it wouldn't have been there. You know, what is the point of doing that? It always confuses me. You know, and then making kids aware of things like gender, and you know, and the seeds that you're planting on so many different levels. You've got to wonder, you know. So it's a fascinating time, where my girl's going and the part of the world that she's in, and you know, just allowing her to, you know, to go on her own way. Wayne Dyer, way back, one of the first ever, it might actually be down there, it's called How to Be a Better Parent, along those lines. Wayne Dyer, he's got the curly hair and the big kind of checky jumper on, and I bought that before I became a dad, so I was already thinking about parenting, because he was talking about 8 or 9 kids that he had. And I was already thinking about, you know, the type of parent I was going to be, and all that kind of good stuff way back then. And I've actually got a couple of signed books from Wayne Dyer that I got for the kids when they were born, and we found them when we were putting the office back together again. So just, you know, really kind of, you know, the way that I suppose we tried to do it, which was by intention. You know, it started with Wayne Dyer, you know, like conscious parenting, and you know, like. One of the great quotes is that they come, you know, that they come through you, but they're not for you. I don't know who it's from. It might be Khalil Gibran. Is that the Prophet? Could be. But when Dad used to talk about it, how your children would come through you and you get to experience them, and then you see the amount of the connections that are made and the kind of the bonds, I suppose. A lot of times that the mummies, when they get to a certain stage, there's the children, it's like everything, their whole life has been about the child. And then when it gets to the stage that we're at, where they're starting to move on, it's like, right, okay, what next? What do you do? You've given everything, and then so it's a fascinating process, and it's no easy. Being a parent isn't easy. It's very, very difficult, and a lot of parents do a really bad job at it. They really do, which is something that needs to change, and there's some very basic and common sense reasons as to why that is. The pressure and the strain and the literal survival position that a lot of single parents are in, mostly mums that are in, when the dad isn't there, which is the norm. You would say that would not be the normal way if it isn't over. The mum and the dad, if someone splits up, the guy would normally leave, and the mum would raise the children, and that's difficult, and it has been difficult, and since that's been the norm over the last 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is, that becomes kind of commonplace. And it didn't used to be, when I grew up, it was very much, families and divorce. I remember the first time I heard divorce was probably late primary school, and so America, which was there seemed to be a kind of a thing. Then you would see on television all the different whatever the shows were, but back here it wasn't really a thing in terms of people splitting up and getting into like different relationships. Excuse me a wee second. Aye, and I suppose it was kind of that way that they did things, in terms of mum looked after the house and the wains and put everything together, and dad went to work. It seemed to work, it seemed to very different, to the way that you see it just now, and the poor jobs that the parents do, I see the results of that almost every single day. I do, I see the results of how people come through the door, in terms of as a result of a mum or a dad or both, or the environment that they grew up in, and the damage that it does, especially at a young age. And that's something that the parents, it isn't their fault. That's one thing I say often, that we're always doing our best now. If you could do it differently, and if you could have done it better looking back, there's loads of things. Me this morning had a wee kind of an early morning cuddle with my girl before she got up. And we're just talking about stuff and going over things, and you always wish you could have done more. I always wish you could have done better. I think back to the amount of what I've put into my kids, in terms of how intentional I've been to be there for them, and and just loving them, and supporting them without spoiling them, and trying to find that balance, and always being there for them, but at the same time allowing them to kind of make the mistakes if that's what's required, for them, and not jumping in and fixing everything. It's a fascinating journey, that whole the way you go through it together at different stages and ages, and it's a beautiful process. It's an absolute honour and a gift. And I think one of the biggest things I had was the awareness from the very beginning, and from that very early on stage where I decided to back away from the business and then just put more time into the kids and be focused towards that. They became my primary focus, absolutely. And the benefits of savouring the best that I could as I went along my journey, and even at that, a lot of the times. Difficult when you're on your own mission, you're on your own journey, and you're trying to look after yourself. That's where a lot of people, especially a lot of kind of single parents, are in survival mode. And if they're dealing with their own stuff, their own traumas, their own hardships, and whether it's mental health or whatever it is that you're carrying through your life, if you're on your own journey as well and trying to make sense of that, and try to attend to somebody else, that's a lot of times almost impossible. So again, we need to kind of cut ourselves some slack. Because if you could have done it better, then you would have. The fact that you never, at the time looking back, the only way we can make peace with that is, you tried your best. You really did. I often think of that. Could I have done it any different? And I think at the time where I was, what I was going through, probably not. Because if I could have, or you know, I was in a position where I was able to, then I would have, but I didn't know at the time. Maybe I was just ignorant to it, you know, and ignorance being our only sin. You know, we can only see from the level we're at. So when you look back and you think, all right, I maybe could have done that differently, or how did I respond or react? But again, you did your best, you know. So that's the way I always make peace with it myself. Otherwise, I'd be great another time. You know, you do your best. You do your best. I've done my best. And I said to you this morning, sometimes I probably could have done better, but you know, again, I did my best at the time. Looking back, there's like, oh man, even me who savoured so much, I've got 30,000 photographs, literally, just hard drives, everything, just capturing that, you know, and when you look back and it's like savouring the moments, you know, so many of them, growing up with them, just the photos, because they never had, the schools they went to had kind of small populations for whatever reason. It was just always seemed to be, there was not a lot of pals kicking about, and Sam and Eve were great pals. So it was really, and plus the male and female, you know, 2 and 2. The dynamics was just brilliant in so many different ways. So it's transition time, and it's really exciting for them. You know, any tears that come up, it's kind of like my mum passed. You know, I felt when I was really like sobbing, and I've cried as heavy this week as I have since my mum died. It's not like a death in the family. That's not it, but it feels like the kind of the sadness and the. It's just fascinating watching the human emotions and the ego, you know, like how I'm dealing with things. Just going to miss her, you know, which is great, you know, and then you're straight away you switch to like where she's going, and how she's going to be, and how she's going to live as, and her experiences, and what's coming towards her, you know, the vessel that she is, and just the goodness that she is. It's so exciting for her. And that just makes you feel amazing, you know, that makes you feel like brilliant, like go and get it, you know, and I've never ever worried about her, you know, I've always just known she's going to be fine. For very early on, you know, so I'm excited for her, you know, but at the same time, really going to miss her. But, you know, starting to now think about, right, we can actually do what we want. We're in a position now where we can do what we want, and that's, I've never had that. I don't know what to do yet. The plan is to get busy. The Scottish tour is coming up. We might be putting it back a week or so. Michael and Fern and their house, their home, their wheels. We might be putting it back to then. We've been speaking about that, maybe delaying it. One Day to Change Your Life is this weekend, which I'm really excited about. And the Scottish tour. So my plan is to get busy. I'm now going to have time for the first time. We've been no commitments. I don't need to do anything except tend to myself and my wife, who's still going to be working in her business. She's going to be a couple of days a week, but by that, then I am free to basically do what I want. So the plan is to get really busy, and you know, the whole parenting thing, and because I'm now, and depending on what age you are, you know, I see myself with people that I work with at different stages and ages. If somebody comes in who's an elder to me, you know, I'll see them as like a big brother. Or like, I'm 52 now, you know, so somebody comes in their 60s and their 70s, it's very much like a big brother, or sometimes it can be like a fatherly figure. And obviously the younger ones as well, you see them like younger brothers, or you know, your sons almost, you know, at different stages, and it's fascinating to me as one of the elders of the tribe, you know, that are trying to pass on this information. Watching, you know, a lot of the times young men, and you know, one of the things that I say all the time, you know, because the trauma is there, the damage has been done, the sins of the past, the sins of the parents, the sins of the father, the sins of the mother, the sins of the environment, the sins of the circus, you know, just whatever it is that caused whatever it did. And whoever was to blame or wasn't to blame, or all of that stuff, you know, the whole thing that brings it together to presenting, you know, the challenges that we're facing. The one thing that I say all the time is, look, we need to break the chains. We need to break the chains. We need to do it differently for the ways our mum and our dads did it. We need to bring it back to the way that it's meant to be. We need to bring back, I believe, marriage. I do. I believe like there's something like wholesome and powerful, you know, and you know, I believe the way that it's meant to be in terms of it's based on love, which I suppose is all marriage based on love. Of course it is. I think a lot is probably based on lust, and because a lot of people don't know what love is. Again, the amount of people I see that I've never felt love. That's quite commonplace, that people have never actually experienced love before. You know, so they express and receive their emotions in different ways, and lust and love and sex and the drive and the hormones and the, you know, the animalistic stuff. You know, that's one way to experience it, but the idea of, I believe, the way it's meant to be, the marriage and the home and the mum and the dad and the Waynes and everybody together as a family unit. I believe that's a sacred space. That if it's done properly, it's a powerful unit, and the values that are installed within that unit. In terms of respect and honour and learning your ways, and because you're like serving an apprenticeship. The purpose of a parent, Wayne Dyer taught me, was to teach your kids to be their own parents. Brilliant. So that's watching the wee and get away today. I was like, she's got this. She can totally aware and just gets it, can see it. Is totally capable. She's more than able. So at that point, your job's done. Whatever it is, whether it was my shortfallings or all the good that we did, or the stuff that they've got for themselves, and when the ebbs and the flows, whatever. To get to the point she's at just now, where she's ready. The evidence is that it's perfect. So it's again, it's got nothing to do with you. They're on their own mission. Kids come in with their own mission, as we all do, and it's great watching them when they start to go on their own mission. And our job is to support that any way we can. I do believe, and just to love them. That's the one thing that we always did. We just loved our Waynes. just always there for them. Just unconditional love. Is it difficult sometimes? Aye, sometimes. Possibly a wee bit more with the boy. My boy, I see so much of him in me. It's very much, I think it's what I did to my dad, very similar. He's just in terms of having his own mind, and I'm not that I ever try to give him anything. I've learned that, but just that level of it's unconditional. It's a really sacred and a really sacred position if it's done properly. But again, the other side of that, the damage that has been done, and the challenge that people face living through their life, with bad parenting. It's I see it every single day, and it's something that we need to get beyond. That place of forgiveness, and that place of the realisation they were doing their best, and you don't really know what they were going through. I say that often. Until you know what your mum and your dad went through when they're trying to raise you can't say. It's so easy and it's so childlike to judge that, but until you've walked in their shoes and lived what they've been through, who knows? So that it's not fair, and they were doing their best. We were all doing our best. So if you were doing your best and you weren't good enough as a parent, greet it out, let it fucking go, and you did your best. That's all you can do. The Buddha said it, Jesus says it, Krishna said it. Just do your best. And sometimes your best isn't good enough looking back, but at the time it was your best. So if you did your best, your intention wasn't to hurt them or hold them back, then you let it go, and you find peace with that. Remember, there's no such thing as sin. Sin is an illusion. You're just doing your best and you're learning as you're going. Really, really simple. So bringing it back to the way it's meant to be, that's very much part of this whole thing. To be successful as a parent, which for me is all about, being present, being there with them, spending in their lives connected to them, really being there with them, loving them and supporting them and getting to know them. One of the things I realised today is when you've hit a certain stage, there's like a separation almost happens, between just being the wee and just my Wayne. I'd get in just see her every single morning. I said to this morning, and I basically put my hand on her back. When I was kind of going through parts of my journey, she was tiny. She was just pure light. She really is. I would walk in during the night and 4 or 5 in the morning before I did my meditation, and I would wake up a lot of the time knowing the best of places, and worry and stress and fear and sometimes tears, and I would go in and I just put my hand on her back or on her wee heart or chest, and you just feel where she was, and she was just beaming, when she was sleeping, just goodness. And that would start me off and help me remember, just tapping into something that lifted me up, so and there's different stages where the stage that she got to as she got older, I suppose, and then the mum comes in, as I did with Sam. There's different roles at different stages, and now the stage she's getting through the other side where it's like she's becoming an adult again, and it's just exciting, for all of it. And it's a long journey. That's the thing to remember as well. There's nothing. It's never too late to repair. The effort, forgiveness, and even seeing it from their perspective. Until that's where the breathwork can be so powerful. When you start to see things from other people's perspectives, You know, when you take responsibility and stop blaming somebody, you know, and thinking it was been them all the time, when you go inside and you switch off the stress, and you maybe stop the programmes, and give yourself a break from that, just that conditioned, you know, whatever that belief system is, then you can start to maybe see things from different perspectives, and sometimes it's their perspective which can be enough to change your life and your relationship with them, and find, you know, the healing not just for yourself but also for them as well. You know, just gain them, you know, because I'm pretty sure, you know, how many parents, you know, must look back and wish they could have done it differently, and do feel, you know, regret and shame and, you know, anger and whatever towards themselves, which doesn't help anybody, you know, it just keeps everything down. So, you know, we really need to, if everybody's going to rise up, then we, you know, everybody needs to win. Then what's the solutions for everybody? You know, and it's that realisation again, simple again, that we're all doing our best, and everything's temporary, and we're just continuously moving forward. And in the grand scheme of things, you know, it doesn't matter that much, you know, with the opportunity, when you have the awareness of to where it is and how it's impacting you. If it's negative, then you have the ability to let it go. You know, so at that point, to carry it and to hold on to it, you know, and this is where it's meditation, this is where it's going inside and reconnecting back into the heart. That's how you let it go. You know, any hurt, any pain, any anger, any resentment, anything you're carrying towards yourself from others, that's holding you back and limiting you, you know, in terms of your consciousness, this vehicle, because it all matters. You know, where you're spending your time, what you're thinking about, of course it matters. You know, so if you're carrying that stuff, any of it on any level, once you're aware of it, then, you know, you really have a duty to get it up and let it go. You know, that's what the conscious, deliberate life is all about. That's what the path to enlightenment is about. That all needs to go. You know, so, and it can all happen very quickly. It can all happen in one session. You can get it all up and get it all out and just, you know, let it spew it out and let it go and greet once and for all, and then that's it done. I've seen that many times. You know, so. Tears this week have been very, very powerful. I've been needing that. One of my good friends said to me, he's been through a bit of a rough time the last wee bit, and he says, I'm needing a right good greet, big hard man, needing a good greet, you know. And this week I have absolutely had the opportunity. I'm being cutting about my old cycling glasses on, doing a dog walk. Oh God, just to hide my eyes. It's been it's been a process. And now that we're free, that the wains are away, it's just a dug. So I'm really excited. There's a lot of good stuff coming up, a lot of exciting stuff. The programme has gone great. The people that are on the programme, thank you all so much. Those lives are just incredible. We did the slumber party on Sunday night. And I said to Michael the next morning, I was like, I could just feel that people were sitting there waking up like hours later with headphones on, like coming out as if they'd been fired out of a cannon. And I got a message in, like, holy feck, 12:30 last night, sitting with my headphones on, like 4 or 5 hours later after this, you know, the slumber party. Guided deep relaxation, just brilliant, you know, just people really, great intentional lives, people doing the work but coming together twice a week on the Zooms, and everything recorded, you know, so they can tap into their favourite ones, and that's expanding, that catalogue's expanding every day. Everything that's recorded is basically put onto it, you know, all the lives are recorded, so that there's breath for mostly everything, and there's new stuff coming up all the time, so that's exciting. You can see it's getting me excited, you know. Just I love the lives, I love the one-on-ones, I love the Q&As that we do, you know, the questions and what people are dealing with. I love all that, you know, because it's when I'm helping somebody share what I've learned along the way, by, you know, basically the basics, the awareness, and, you know, the ability to use intention and how you navigate your way back towards that better feeling place, you know, feeling good and being easy and being happy and joyful, and what it takes to get there, and how it impacts everything. When you see people doing that, that's what it's all about for me, and there's so many people doing it just now. It's great, it's really powerful, you know. So excited for what's coming up, excited for the tour very much. We're looking at Dundee, Aberdeen, and then it's down the west coast. I don't know how far we're going. We're looking at Ayrshire probably. And then I'm going to finish off in Glasgow. 4 dates to kick it off. It's going to be starting next month, very, very soon, within the next couple of weeks. Probably this weekend we've got 1 day to change your life, so probably miss a week, and then the week after that is probably looking at doing the Scottish tour. Hopefully Michael and Fern have got the mystery machine. I hope they're ready to go. And then it's on. Again, it's going to be all free events. The intention is to take it to the country, to those pockets to begin with, and see who we can get around about it. And give people the experience and see what we're talking about, and and capture it. Capture the journey by filming it, and catching the videos and the testimonials and the interviews and the video footage, people on the sea and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be magic. Again, it's going to be breathe and believe. But the mission is in terms of the tour itself is reset and reconnect. It's going to be called to reset and to reconnect. Back into the self, reconnection with each other, reconnection back with Mother Nature, and then back into the divine. Absolutely. We're bringing it back. We're bringing back meditation and God, which is exciting. Getting people, to experience meditation and what it is. It's not about quieting the heat and just switching off. That's a starter for 10. That's a byproduct. But we're going to reconnect back into your hearts and back into your souls and back into the true, authentic self beyond the stuff and the heat and the intellect and the mind and all that stuff. It's going to be fascinating for a lot of people. I do feel so excited about all of that and. The Godcast, this one will probably go again on Friday. I'm going to be doing my first interview. I'm hoping I'm going to be doing my first interview this weekend. A really good friend of mine, a brother of myself for many, many years now. Ricardo da Costa is coming over. I'm picking him up on Thursday so that he'll be here when this goes out. And I'm planning to see if we can set up the first interview. Ricky, my brother from Portugal, is a yogi. He's a poet. He's a light worker. He's someone online who I was given his information a long time ago, and as soon as I tuned into him, I could just see who he was, and some of the way he expressed himself in his poetry and his own journey just lit up. I could see who he was. And I went over to meet him and spent some time with him and stayed with him in his home. And he's been over here before, 2020 that would have been. Probably just before, in fact 2019, just before my mum died. He came over just at the end of, just getting into winter time. It wasn't proper cold yet, but it was getting there. And he loves the heat. He's a wee yogi, he just loves the heat. And his tea, he loves to drink tea, the boy. So I'm really excited he's coming over. And he's going to be at One Day to Change Your Life this Sunday as well as we're doing an event on Friday evening for his best friend and a man who's a really good friend of mine. I would call him one of my best friends as well. His brother Ruben, who short time ago, and a long story short, they grew up on the beach together. I went over and I spent time with Ricky. Ruben drove down. He was up towards the north, Casillas he stays just off on the beach. I mean, just a professional athlete and beach bum, jiu-jitsu player, just an incredible human being. The most powerful heart I've ever felt in another human. When we came over and I was able to do some energy work with him. And his girl Tamara as well, who everybody needs to know. Again, when they come back over next time, it'll be very different. The amount of people that I know that could benefit from their work. Tamara's just, just only goodness, so to call them both friends and to this journey that they're on, and Ruben, the journey he's been on, where out of the blue, going back a couple of months now, even as much as that, almost lost his life. And he's the most powerful, healthiest, fittest, strongest human being I've ever met. I watched him on the rings and I watched him doing his bodyweight exercises, which is what he does for a living, teaching people how to move, bodyweight functional stuff. And I ended up getting a liver transplant, and he's been on a recovery journey and having to really start from the very beginning again. Ricky's best friend, one of my absolute brothers, and one of my, I don't have many friends, but I would consider one of my best friends. I've only met him a couple of times, but again, just one of the people that just a force for good and a powerful being. And so Ricky's coming over, and the plan is to do, we're going to be doing because they're starting from nothing, and they've got very humble lives in terms of how they live. So the plan is to raise some money for them and get Ruben back on his feet, and get him back out teaching again and get him back healthy again and get him back to full recovery. So that's going to be Friday night at the Vortex. That's sold out, unfortunately. But the One Day to Change Your Life, anybody that would like to come down and I'm going to be speaking to Ricky to see if he can do a wee bit. He's got a meditation that he's bringing to the world. which the Pantheon method, it's called, is something I've been through myself. It's an incredible process. I'm really excited to see the boys in particular. I'm feeling around about the Vortex, especially the inner circle, from the kind of programme and even Boys Club, because I've been knocking lumps at them recently with the drum and power breathing and fire breath and just like going for it properly, because I know they can handle it, and there's different levels to it. There's things that you want to do with certain people, and especially when the drum gets going, you know, and you're just battering, because again, what it does to the vibrations, what it achieves, and Ricky's breath work, along with sacred sounds and sacred harmonics and all the divine frequencies and the different, you know, energy centers and the chakras. Ricky's coming from yoga, Indian kind of background base with us, as well as his own. You know, he's been in Bali for the last 3 years, living the life and doing his practices and just living the simple man, humble, you know, peaceful warrior, yogic life. So he's somebody that I'm very excited to let people get around about. So Friday night's going to be that. Sunday, One Day to Change Your Life, he'll be there as well. He'll be there to answer any questions about the yogic life, and I'm going to see if I can maybe, he doesn't know any of this is going to be a surprise for him. Even Friday night, he doesn't know any of it. I've sold it out. We've raised like 700 quid for Ruben, and Ricky's holding the class, so I've got a night off, and Ricky's going to be taking the class, you know, so we're going to get the fire going, the fire pit and the ice bath and the sauna, and just catch up, you know, introduce, you know, my brother to my brothers. It's going to be great. It's going to be a really powerful night. And then after that's done, then it's One Day to Change Your Life, which is on Sunday. We go again, which I'm not excited about yet, but it's coming, because it's, as I say it when it comes up, it's my favourite one. I love One Day to Change Your Life. The amount of content, you know, when you start to think about what we're actually trying to give in one day, and how it actually happens at different stages and in different ways for different people, but how, you know, the people that go and really like commit to it, and it's the right timing for them, and they really, you know, open heart and open mind, and they come to play, then it's literally one day to change your life. That's it. There's no question about it. It doesn't matter what you're coming in, mate. Every single thing's going to get better in your life. That's a guaranteed fact. That's what they're saying, and that's what I know, because I know how it goes together, you know, because when you come in and learn how to breathe and how to relax and how to sleep and how to switch off your nervous system, you know, great to switch it on, but to turn it off, you know, to leave the day behind, peace of mind, and then you start to look at meditation, you know, going back inside and reconnecting back into your heart, back into your soul, and that journey, if that's your thing, where that can take you, you know, the intentional life, you know, the experience of the breathwork, functional breathing, and then the intentional breath, where we're going to go with that, the journey, you know, and that's before you even, you know, start to think about, you know, the ability to, you know, be in that space and allow things to come up, you know, and get them out, and you know, the freedom and the relief that's taken just with that breath work, you know, just giving yourself the opportunity to go inside. What is it that I'm holding? What's holding me back? What is it that's getting stuck in my craw, as Abraham used to say? What can I get rid of? You know, and then the ability just to get it out. And then, you know, into the river for a dip, which is always an interesting part of the day, and it'll still be running cold. I'll not be up there for a wee bit, but it'll still be running cold, you know, so it's a great chance to get in and just wash it all away, especially this time of year. I'm hoping it rains. I'm hoping it absolutely hammers down and it's freezing, so we can get the full experience of Mother Nature, that reconnection back to the rivers and the earth, and getting changed outside, you know, and just roughing it a wee bit, which is great, you know. It's not bad for us at all. And then the afternoon session is about meditation, and I'll be talking a lot about the programme, and I'll be talking a lot about, you know, the intentional community and the benefits of the intentional life, and how we fix the world, I do believe, you know, and the solutions to all of that. And it's a process of remembering again, isn't it? It's about reconnecting and remembering. That's what the programme's all about, living that life the way that it's meant to be. You know, we were teaching some basic fundamentals, you know, those three different pillars that I talk about, and once you get them, you know, once you see how it goes together, and then your life is your own, you know, that's your teacher, because when you're seeing what you're doing to yourself, when you're seeing what you're bringing to every situation, when you're seeing how it's unfolding and how, you know, it's impacting you depending on how you're showing up, and what you expect, and how you're sleeping and what you're eating, and everything matters, you know, especially this time just now. It's a time to take back control, no matter what stage you're at. I'm getting asked all the time just now, can kids come? There's going to be another programme for children. This is for probably, One Day to Change Your Life is probably 16 and over. Responsible young adults that have got a reason for being there, not because their mum wants them to go because they're on the PlayStation too much. That isn't what this is. And also with this kind of work, there's a lot of tears in this work. There's a lot of tears. which is great, as I've discovered this week. Get them up, just greet them out, man. Let's get them to, get them out, even if it is tears of sadness or regret or shame or whatever it is, whatever you're carrying, get them out. And then we're going to replace it, and that day is absolutely what it's about. It's about replacing and upregulating and, remembering the reset and reconnect to remember how we're able to feel, and that's done through meditation. The highest you're going to and the best you'll feel all day is through the meditation. And some of the things that happen in that evening, with the kind of late afternoon into, I think it's 5 o'clock it finishes, that meditation in the afternoon when you've been in the river and your nervous system's been reset and you've grit it out and you've had a wee bite to eat, and you're starting to, the dust is settling, then you're in a different place. Then at that point it's like who are you now going to walk as? Who are you going to walk through this life as? What's your choices going to be? How are you going to live? What are you going to do? So then the journey begins. Then at that point, how it goes together, and you have the ability to get back to that place every single day. You do. And even if you didn't know how to before, there's no excuse now, because the program's there at £1 a day. If you can afford it, £1 a day, that's all it is, to be part of this community and be around about this work and, have the support there to get you through it. That's absolutely something that's been missing. And I'm watching people now that have got the community, some that are flying, and then at other points, others that are dying, and how the group's basically moving along and how people are uplifting each other with their chat, and people are learning the ways of this language and how it goes together. So they're now kind of not coaching each other, but they're making sense of each other, which is great. We're learning what works and what doesn't. And it's exciting for me, just watching the expansion of it and how it's coming together. The programme for me is fantastic. The 1 day to change your life in terms of learning the tools, techniques is brilliant. That's the stepping stone from Friday night and the basic experience, and then to go through the 1 day to change your life and see behind the veil as to all the kind of bits and pieces and the support bits and the things, the individual stuff that you're going to have to be working on, with the videos to back that up, and then the community as well for access to the questions and the the kind of the online experiences, as you go through this journey, so you're not going through it alone, and in fact the fact you can through it with other people is very powerful. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. The topic of parenting and teaching them how to be free, I'm now starting to realise that I'm starting to get a wee bit of freedom in my life that I've not had for a long time, which is really exciting. I'm excited to see what I do with it. I'm here to fulfil my own potential. We're starting to warm up now. There's stuff that's starting to happen around about us, which is great. My plan is just to keep it humble, keep paying it forward, keep sharing these solutions and helping people find relief and their own way, how helping them find a better way perhaps of doing it than the way they've been doing it. And keeping it simple. This way is dead simple, in alignment with nature and the elements. And yourself, your true authentic self, and giving the body what it needs, and giving each other what we need, which is hugs and compassion. I was watching Santana the other night, who I'm not really a big fan of, but I didn't realise that in terms of the spirituality that was in his story, and he was talking about the Archangel Metatron as well, which is very interesting. And really, really interesting. So he was basically saying, the hippies were right. It's like the love and the consciousness and the hugs and it's so important. It's really important that we connect back with each other again, which for some people, it's the last thing in their mind. Especially if you're in survival, it's very, very difficult. So we need to bring it back. We need to get it back to the way that it's meant to be, back to nature, the natural path. In alignment with the divine. We need to normalise God. We need to make God like something that's all right. Okay, I know what he's talking about. I know what that means when he talks about the way. I understand what you mean. It's the natural path. It's in alignment with the divine, the energy that literally creates worlds. That's been forgotten about. The intelligence behind what makes your eyeball and what's able to grow the trees and whatever created this planet. I'm pretty sure it isn't man-made. So. The source of that, which is what we obviously come through as well. It's not too late, and it doesn't matter, where you're starting or what you're coming in. It's never too late to fix it. You can always fix it. It's easy to fix no matter what it is. it can always be fixed, you know. So for all you parents out there that are giving yourself a hard time or wishing or pondering, then we just need to take responsibility and admit we did our best, and decide to move forward. And for this point forward, it's a new best, it's a new level of, right, okay, this is now I know about it, now I know these things, and I can set my bar at a different height, I can do it in a different way. That's certainly what I continue to do, you know, it's just to continue to set the bar higher and go, right, okay, I'm going to do it this way, and that's just, you know, depending on where I am, which is always, you know, the best, to do your best, isn't it? Just to do your best, you know, so be easy with yourself, and for the sons and the daughters that have been affected by poor parenting, they did their best, so give them a break, sit in silence, send them love, perhaps see it for how they went through it, and, you know, forgive them if you can. That great poem about the fragrance being, you know, as the heel crushes the rose, you know, and the fragrance, you know, how the relief and, you know, that forgiveness of, you know, the end of the rose, but just this essence of bringing a different energy to it, you know, it's so powerful. Anybody that's been able to forgive anybody, I've spoken about it recently, something I experienced last year when I was able to forgive somebody for something, and it was such a purifying, spiritually cleansing, uplifting, enlightening process for me, you know, when I was able to, you know, send, you know, this gift, and what it did for me was just incredible. I'd never felt it like that before, you know. So forgiveness is very important, and if you are aware that you're carrying it, maybe it's time to get it up and to get out and to let it go. Maybe it's time to replace it, you know. So we need to break the chains. That's the thing for the Waynes that have been hard done to. It's to break the chains. It's to date in a different way. You get the opportunity because your mum and dad made an arse of it or whatever. To date in a different way, you know, you get a chance to like go, right, okay, I'm not going to be that because I've seen it. Contrast is a great thing, isn't it? This is where you go, right, the contrast of paying the Southern how shit they were. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be the best parent in the world, you know. So there you go, nothing in vain. Yeah, you get to become, and then your child will probably flip the other way and go back to the way it used to be with your parents. So it's like, you don't know. It's always evolving. It's a difficult time we're in for everybody, especially for the Waynes. So go easy on them. Just love them. I see so many, like, the fights and the battles, you know, and any stress that the mum normally and the Wayne, you know, it's the mums need to be right and to impose, or the dad as well, to impose it on the child, you know, their way of doing things, and I just feel it's saying, like, just stop, it's not working, you know, just watch, look what's happening, and just love them, you know, just give them a cuddle, just fucking stop, you know, just give them a hug, and tell them you love them and be there for them, and just shut up and listen for 5 minutes. Instead of like trying to tell them, you know, and trying to correct them and trying to make them, you know, the way you think it is, you know. So it's it's no easy for either side, but you know, the children have, and a lot of them, as I say to them often, you know, you're still here and you're still standing, so what the fuck, nothing's in vain. You know, so obviously you're able to deal with it, so you've dealt with it, so then let's go. You know, you're now standing with these battle scars or these, you know, these dinks in your armour that you've recovered from, because you're still moving forward and you're able to deal with it. So, you know, it's great, you've learned, and nobody's dead. You know, as I say to my Waynes before they left, and I said to Eve this morning, just go and get the experience, you know, like you go and your intention is to just do your best, get the life experience, you know, you don't hurt anybody, obviously, which I don't even need to say to her. But you know, it's like just go and do your best and get the experience and come back in one piece. That's it. Just come back in one piece. You know, and just shine your light to the world. That was it. That was a bit my wife put in her card. Just shine your light. Just be yourself and shine your light. What else can you do? You know. So God bless her soul, onwards and upwards for her. To have a fantastic summer where she's going. She's going to have a time of her life. I'm excited for her. My boys, he's away as well. I'm excited for them both. I'm excited for us in the Dug, for what's coming for us this year. I'm excited for the tour. Excitement's a great place to be. That is, eager anticipation. To get excited, Abraham used to say, just get excited. You know, and I'm genuinely excited again for this. Ricky's coming over, excited for that. One day to change your life, like really excited for that. Michael and Fern, what's happening in their lives. The people that are coming in about the work, the people that are trying to, like, I put a post out about partners last week, and I'm thinking about the people that are showing up and trying to help and want to be part of this and take it to the world and help in different ways. Excited for that. Down in Birmingham last week was awesome. Just really grateful, you know, to the guys. Just interesting how it unfolded and how it came together. I basically was doing talks, presentations for a group in Glasgow, and a man heard me speak, there's probably only a half-hour presentation I'd be doing, and recommended it to a gentleman called Andy, Big Andy, and his partner, who I hadn't met until the weekend, but I spoke to Andy on the phone, and invited me down to their a retreat, the first one they'd done in the country. They do retreats internationally, I believe Bali and Croatia. They've been doing them since 2017, and it's all about kind of taking back your power and designing your life and all that kind of stuff. Really kind of interesting work, and they asked me to do a kind of presentation. So I went down to Birmingham last week, and again the people, just the people that are in the room, and the level of consciousness that certain groups are attracting. I mean, you meet the people who are about it, both Andy and Lloyd, and their wives as well, and the people within the group that showed up to participate, and when you really feel them, when you get a chance. It's the best hugs I've ever had. It really was, hands down. Well done. There's something about the old the Midlands hugs that was incredible. Well done to you all, and an indication of obviously Andy and Lloyd and what they're doing there. So gratitude from myself and my wife. We had a couple of great days at the Belfry, and had an absolute blast. I only wish I could have been there longer and given more, and because some of the stories I've been hearing since, as to what came as a result of the week, just exciting for all of that, and the people, partners we're working with. It's exciting. It's what's next. That's what I'm thinking about next. There's so many things. There's so many different levels to this. In terms of this work, my own retreat, we're now working on that. There's going to be a retreat very, very soon. There's going to be many retreats very, very soon in different ways between the TPs and based in Lanark, and we're looking at down the West Coast just now as well. So there's some really exciting stuff coming on that. It's just finding the time to put it all together now. We're knocking lumps at it in quite a few fronts. It takes time. We're enjoying the process. We're having a great time. People are benefiting, and it seems to be working so far. So we're just going to keep going, keep paying it forward, keep sharing the light, keep sharing these truths and these ways of living, which are, basic and fundamental in the way that it's meant to be, I do believe, because in my own experience and by sharing it with others, things get better, so at that point we start to move in a different direction. So there it is, number 9, parenting. And just where I am, what people are going through, the challenges that we face. As always, the solutions, we start from where we are, we move forward, we don't need to look back. Once you acknowledge it and you've dealt with it, you don't need to always look back and just bury yourself with thinking how horrible you were. Once, in that conversation, to sit them down and go, what, I acknowledge, or to take the responsibility, which isn't easy, but, to admit, and to say I did my best and give me a hug and I'm sorry and I'll do better from now on. That's the way through this. That's the way out to the promised land of freedom, and ease, and really dealing with all that stuff that's going to make you sick if you don't deal with it. It's the stuff we worry about and the stuff we consciously carry. You need to get it up and get it out on every level of the body, to speak it out, enables you to speak your truth, but the way that you carry it inside your stomach, that stuff will make you sick. So we need to get it up and get it out, and then we replace it in love, hugs, hugging it out, even if they're not ready to fully forgive. Sometimes you got to take the first steps, those first uncomfortable leaps into the abyss of, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean it. Oh, it's no easy, it can take some time, I know that, but it's so worth it if you can do it, so do your best, go for it, try your best, let's make peace with stuff, let's heal ourselves, let's forgive those on about us that did us wrong. Let's break the chains, and start to tell a different story. Once we tell the story once, then we get a chance to basically let it go and never tell it ever again. But then we get to tell a different story. So how it is and how we want it to be, as opposed to where it was and how it held us back. That's why a lot of the self-help rooms and people talking about where they went wrong and how bad it was, it doesn't work. It makes it worse. So please stop it. Love and light. God bless you all. God bless the parents. And the Waynes, God bless and protect the innocent. My daughter, as she makes her way across the world. My boy as well, not too far away. I saw during the week the thought of kind of national service and all that kind of stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, I get it. A lot of these kids that are coming up, and they could probably deal with some corporal punishment, I suppose, in the system, like learning how to like, for one, the physical demands in terms of what that would be good for the physical training and the disciplines, and having father figures and learning, what they kind of just get away with what they want to get away with. There's so many different benefits to it. And, you know, obviously, then you take a step back and you go, wait a minute, but they're teaching them to basically kill people. You know, that's what armies do. They teach you to kill people. No matter what part of it you are, you're learning how to basically kill people and end lives. So at that point, I go, nah, fuck that. I'm out. That's not happening. You know, I don't care what the benefits are. There must be a different way of doing it. That's a step in the wrong direction. You know, and your man, sorry for him to say the old want to be Prime Minister. I'm pretty sure, you know, his wains, if he had any sons, they wouldn't be getting the kind of the frontline stuff or the grunts. It would be it's different. You know, they're officers. They're a different part of the military. They see it it's a career for them. You know, it's a job. It's an honour, whereas the people that I see that have been anywhere near the military, most of them are not in the best of places. You know, the amount of people I've worked with PTSD and just trauma that it's very, very difficult to shift that and what it does to the brain and the physical body and the stuff they've seen at war. And, you know, at that point you go, really, like, you want to, like, to prepare everybody, like, take one step closer towards, like, preparing them for that, you know, and then what did they sign up and then end up and, you know, whatever it is. And I mean, fucking hell, good luck, you know. So it's a difficult time, you know. It's a really difficult time that we're in just now for the Wains coming up and how we're trying to get it back on the right track and things like that. And you go, it just shows you how far away we are, because the way we need to fix it is no more of that, no more of feeding the industrial military complex, but it's to return to love. The opposite of war isn't peace, it's love. You know, and there's real, authentic, unconditional love. That's where meditation comes in. That's where you need to get out your head and into your heart and experience what love like feels like for yourself and then for others, and then eventually for everyone would be great, your fellow man. And the only way you get to do that is through the process of meditation and reconnecting and remembering the divinity that's not just inside you, but it's inside everybody. That's how we fix it, you know. So national service and learning to fight and ego and guns and all that kind of stuff, I would say no. I would say absolutely no. There could well be a different way of doing it, but we just need to wait and see, because they're leading towards a war. Everyone's going towards a war, isn't it? That's the ultimate suppressant. So it's tricky times ahead. All glory to God. Have faith in the process. Keep moving forward. See it as you want it to be. And know that everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. I can feel it. We just need to keep our focus firmly on the solutions. Power over force, and all glory to God. Peace out and bye for now. God bless you all. Take it easy. See you soon.